time has expired. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Phillips, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. Let me start by defending you, the overwhelming majority of those of us on this committee, in this entire Congress, Americans, Jews, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, agnostics around the world, even Israelis and Palestinians, which is to say, we're all disgusted. We all want peace. We do not want war. We want prosperity, not misery. And to accuse any of us, including you, of being butchers or ignorant is shameful. And I want to remind those protesting, you have that right, because this is America, but you can't make peace with terrorists. And we probably can't make peace as long as Benjamin Netanyahu is the Prime Minister of Israel. I think those two things can be true at once, but I want to remind everybody here that we're in this business to make peace, not war, and that's what I want to focus on, not bombs, but peace. And say, too, that one child being murdered is too many, whether that's in a school here in the United States because of sickening gun violence, whether it's a terrorist attack in Tel Aviv, or whether it is a bomb in Gaza. One is too many. Mr. Secretary, where do we go from here? A lot of the questions have been retrospective about holds and bombs and missiles and support. Where do we go from here? 75 years of misery. You have one of the hardest jobs in the world. I know where your heart is. What happens next, and what do we need to do to finally end this nonsense, identify a path to peace and prosperity and mutual security?
I appreciate your comments, Congressman, and I would say that I think there is a clear path.
Good.
And the clear path goes with the following. One is there's an extraordinary opportunity for Israel to achieve what it has sought from the day of its founding, and that is acceptance by its neighbors, to have normal relations with all the countries in the region, starting with Saudi Arabia. And we've been working intensely on that normalization process. And we are very close to being able to complete the agreements necessary between us and Saudi Arabia, but then it will require Israel to make decisions about Gaza and ending the conflict there, as well as creating a credible pathway to a Palestinian state. If that happens, then Israel will get what it has long sought, which is, again, acceptance in the region. It will have partners who will be looking out for it, as we saw on April 13th and April 14th, when countries in the region, because of the United States, came to its defense against this unprecedented attack by Iran. Its number one threat, and one that we face as well, Iran will be isolated. And, of course, the resolution, finally, of the Palestinian problem can be achieved in ways that guarantee Israel's security. The bottom line is you have roughly 5 million Palestinians between the West Bank and Gaza, roughly 7 million Jews in Israel. Neither is going away. The Palestinians aren't going anywhere. The Jews are not going anywhere. There has to be an accommodation. Absent that accommodation, we are in for an endless repeat of this cycle. We will always do everything we can to make sure that Israel can defend itself and defend Israel as necessary.
Good.
But this path forward is clear, it's compelling, and it answers Israel's most profound needs. So I hope we can move down it.
Is it fair to say that, based on your experience and the basic human condition, that when humans have something to protect, they act defensively, not offensively? Is one of the paths to peace that Israelis, we Americans, Palestinians, the Arab world should understand and recognize, the Gulf states, that people need something to protect?
Yes, when you have something to protect, when you have something that you take pride in, then of course that's what you want to do.
I'm the ranking member of the Middle East Subcommittee, of course, with my dear friend Chairman Wilson. We traveled to the Middle East in August. Of course, a lot has changed since then. Been to Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Israel twice. A lot has changed, of course, but my question is relative to the PA. You know, why is this not more of a focal point right now? We can't make peace with Hamas. What do we need to do? What does Israel need to do? What can we do to at least identify a potentially principled leadership group to represent Palestinians at a table, knowing, absent that, there is no path?
Well, look, I agree with that. In the category of you can't beat something with nothing, one of the answers to durably getting rid of Hamas and making sure it can never come back again is to have a real alternative, one that can actually advance the interests of the Palestinian people, not destroy them as Hamas has done.
And I only have a few seconds left.
Please.
Quick, Is Abu Mazen the man, or are there other able, competent, next-generation Palestinians?
There's a new prime minister, there's a new government, there's a new program to get it reformed, to deal with corruption. We've engaged with the new prime minister. He's a serious individual who's trying, but he also needs the resources necessary so that the PA can deliver more effectively for the people it represents.
Thank you for sharing my sentiment. With that, I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Gentleman has